Hey guys, welcome to another Randicade video. Welcome to another Randy rant. Welcome to another, talking about things, a little chatting video on this here channel. Today we're going to be talking about the term Larp and what it has become for the greater internet. I've noticed it's been popping up frequently in the Resident Evil, JJK, and Invincible communities, for the most part. And instead of the live-action role-playing context that it used to be used in, no different than what has become of the term goon, which used to be used for henchmen, the term LARP is now being used on people who pretend to be a part of a community that they are not. Now, I've noticed that it's become so frequently used that people will use this new definition that's been coined and popularized to sort of discredit anyone that has an opinion that they do not enjoy. A key example of this would be with the aforementioned Resident Evil community. I do agree with the notion, naturally. If you do not know anything about the games, you won't play the games, etc., and you just happen to like the look of the character, you're not a fan. You're not. I'm sorry. I agree with that notion. However, those people take it... they've found a way to take it beyond that and say that if you have not played every game from the original, like pre-remakes and everything, by the way, then you are also LARPing. So if you have not played every single old game through and through, 100% achievements, not literally, but pretty close, you're not an actual fan, according to that part of the community. And that is where they take it too far. Now, it is difficult for me to express sort of how I feel on this topic, because it has been coined as a buzzword at this point, which means people will just chuck it at you nonstop if you say something they don't like. And to me, that's not fun to read. It can be a good joke. The JJK community has made some pretty funny stuff in reference to that, where they will slander a specific character like Yuta or Megumi. And it's good. I like those characters, but it's funny. Now, when people take it seriously, that's when it gets a little annoying. The Megumi slander might be a little fair, but... And then you'll also have stuff like Invincible, where they talk about how horrible the power scaling is in that series. Like, there was a crossover joke between those two communities. People were saying that Mark would defeat Gojo and then die to Toji's worm or something like that. And I think it's a decent indicator of how a lot of things in that series go, where Mark will get his ass absolutely handed to him by a street-level villain or something like that, and then he'll take on Conquest and beat him twice. Just kill every strong Viltrumite that previously outpowered him, and then he'll be getting walked, like absolutely walked, by someone who is far below those characters. Even the term LARP could be applied to me here. I've only lightly dabbled in Invincible, versus where I'm a huge fan of stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen and Resident Evil. Little percentage right there on one of the games, and an almost complete percentage on the other one. I guess the general commentary for me is people, they kind of lack creativity when it comes to coming up with new terms for things now. I don't know if it's a new form of laziness that has been sparked by most things being asked for by AI, and not as much drive to come up with things yourself anymore and get creative. And I don't really know. But I've noticed the repurposing of terms quite frequently with the current state of the internet, rather than coming up with something new, because it's easier to just... I've just seen it quite frequently within the communities and fan bases that I tend to circle around. And it's a confusing one to me, because people will just latch onto a term and they will use it over and over and over again on both sides of the scale. There are people who take it too far, as I said, where they will call anyone that is not completely versed in every bit of information about the series not a fan or a LARPer. And then you'll have the people on the other side of the scale who are kind of fake fans and don't actually enjoy the thing that they're talking about very much, like the people making said Jujutsu Kaisen jokes, or the people who constantly post edits on TikTok arguing about whether or not Leon S. Kennedy belongs with Ada Wong or Claire Redfield. And I would swear that anyone that says Leon and Claire belong together, a couple hundred Chris Redfield burners, if you understand that reference. Yeah, I just wanted to chat on something that I kind of felt semi-passionate about. I don't have much information on it otherwise. I don't want to delve into the history of what LARP used to be used for. It was for live action roleplay. It was the dudes that would be outside with wooden swords at a fake medieval convention having fights and stuff like that, and not like convention type things. I'm talking they go out into a park and set up a Renaissance type of thing, or the 18th century, I think it's 18th century battles, where it would be the red coats versus the blue coats, and people have a hobby of going out and I guess reenacting those wars. That's kind of what LARP is properly used for. That's live action roleplay. It's pretending or reenacting something, right? Pretending would be the best term. And now it's become just sort of a way to discredit someone else's take on the internet by calling them a LARPer. So, very interesting. I hope you found that interesting too. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. And I hope you like and subscribe. It is my dream. I think about it. I dream about it every night. I really hope that you, yes, you in specific, enjoy the content that I post here. I gotta get a haircut tomorrow, and I go to Vancouver later this week. So, with that being said, have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. I love you. So don't leave me. Anyway, yeah, see you around.